This episode was brought to you by the Secret Society of Adored Women.
Have you been tirelessly going on crap-tastic dates, having crap-tastic results with men, even spending a crap-tastic amount of time weeding through meh guys and fretting over the one who won't call you back or commit?
Join us for our Hush Hush group of like-minded, successful, badass single women from around the world, turning the dating scene on its head and creating scandalously magical romantic experiences that you will cherish forevermore.
But beware, your love life and life will never be the same again.
Meet us over at thesecretsocietyofAdoredWomen.com.
You are listening to Single Smart Female.
This is Jen,
And Jen,
letting it all hang out for your love life.
examining your dating experiences and answering your hot topic dating questions.
Just you and us. Jen squared. No topic is off limits and no filters involved.
We are here to help you do dating on your terms.
If you have a question you would like us to answer or would like to immediately upgrade your love life with our collection of classes and exclusive merchandise, meet us over now at singlesmartfemale.com. Hello, single smart female. It is Jen, your romantic fairy godmama, coming to you today with a single smart female listener question. All the way from New York City. Yep, New York City. Okay, so this question comes from Miss To Kink or Not to Kink. Hi, Jen. I've been listening to your podcast for over a year now, and it's really helpful. Thank you. It encouraged me to move on from my toxic relationship, and now I'm talking to a couple of men at the moment. One of them who texts and talks every day, but has the weirdest kink. He is a doctor and works full time, yet still makes time to text me. He is a bisexual guy, and I am bisexual as well. I do not want to be a hypocrite. However, he is polyamorous and I am monogamous. I told him that our fling won't go any further than casual sexting or possibly 2 times a month sex sessions. He seems to be getting deeper with me and always compliments me more than my ex did. He even told me he'd be okay with staying exclusively with me. And on the other hand, the rest of the guys usually text me here and there when they are free. My question is, what should I do with the person who has a kink, and what do I do to attract the vanilla romance guys to my life? All right, let's dig into this. So first off, I want to point out something in your submission, and I want to tell you that honestly, by the way you set up the submission and the things that you were telling me, you were really setting him up to be the winner in all this. So just let you know that you've already got a propensity towards this one man, and we're going to explore that more in just a minute. So second question is bisexual monogamy. Okay, first off, you being bisexual and wanting to be monogamous and he is polyamorous, that doesn't make you a hypocrite on any level. Your sexuality or your sexual orientation has very little to do with determining what type of relationship you are interested in. And you are entitled, no matter where you are or who you identify as, to have the relationship that you want, whether it be monogamous, polyamorous, any of those S's. Okay? So I want you to really be clear on the fact that that does not make you a hypocrite just because he wants something, or he's told you that he wants something different in a relationship than you do. Now, let's move to the next piece. Actually, we're going to stop here for a second because you were asking how to attract more vanilla romance guys and what do you do with this guy who has a kink. Now, before we go anywhere, the first thing you have to determine the kink. Let's talk about the kink. Most people have some type of kink. We don't admit that we have some type of kink, but we do. We have some type of kink. But we classify, of course, there's this classification system of kink and all that kind of stuff that we put the whole kink scenario into a certain box. So when you're talking about attracting more vanilla romance guys, there's a lot of romance guys out there, and a lot of them have kinks. And there are some vanilla guys, and I'll be the first to admit my husband's more of the vanilla guy, and I'm the one that has to work on his kink. And boy, do we have fun doing that. But understand that this is the next part I really want you to take in, is just because somebody has a kink, it doesn't separate them from being romantic. There are a lot of people with kinks that would love to be romantic too. And you're already, through the setup that you were giving me, he's already talking, you can already see that he is feeling more romantic towards you. And all romance it comes from the setup. The couple things happen. Either a woman is ready for the romance and so she accepts it into her life, or she gets all weirded out by it and pushes it away when a guy's romantic, and she's like, oh, well, I just don't like him like that, so that's why I'm going to push him away. And usually that means the problem with romance not happening these days, it's not because men aren't romantic, because men really can be romantic. It's that men are getting a lot of fucking mixed signals about being romantic because women are so uncomfortable with receiving romance. So I want you to think about that for a second. As a smart, ambitious female, we're spending so much time going out and conquering that we're not learning how to receive and not learning how to share the things that we truly desire in a way that doesn't come off as bitchy. Like, we'll expect men to read our minds and then tell them later what we actually wanted, instead of communicating with them in a fun, playful way on the things that we like and that we're interested in. So that's definitely one piece of it. All men with kinks have a romantic side to them. It's whether or not, okay, I'm sure there are a few exceptions. You don't have to write me about it. But let's say most men with kinks, or most men, because a lot of men have kinks, because a lot of us have kinks, have a romantic side to them. It's just whether or not you're going to give them a certain amount of permission and inspiration for that. And that is the journey of becoming an adored woman and understanding that about yourself so that you become receptive to it, which we'll talk about. That's how you attract more of that, is by you turning into a woman who's really, truly receptive to it. Now, let's go back to the kink. It's all about the kink today. First off, I love the word kink. I can't tell you why, but I love it. I love the way it rolls off of my tongue. Maybe that's a kink. Maybe I have a tongue kink. Interesting. I'm going to process that for a bit. All right, back to the kink. The thing about kinks is that you said he had the weirdest kink. It is definitely okay to experiment with a man's kink. But if you decide that you really don't like it, then that might be a good indication that this isn't going to be a relationship that you want to allow to develop. You can always, because the criteria for keeping somebody in your mantourage versus a relationship is different. You can definitely keep him around if there's parts of him that you definitely enjoy. But if you engage in the kink and you decide you really don't like the kink, do not continually engage in the same kink, okay? You can experiment with it, try it. If you don't like it, press pause on it and let them know. Say, I appreciate, and you can tell them I appreciate that this is yours, but I'll be honest with you, it does not turn me on. So I would love to continue to see you, but I'm not willing to explore this specific kink with you any longer. And then he can make a decision too, whether or not he wants to continue to see you, and you get in, and it's all hunky-dory. Everything works out that way. And he may decide that he's like, no, I really want to spend time with people who appreciate my kink. And of course, there's always going to be somebody who does. All right. Unless, by the way, I've totally gone into this kink thing, but I'm also assuming, I think it goes without saying, but I'm going to put it out there just in case. I'm also assuming that this is not a kink that is harmful to anybody in any shape or form. Okay? That's the one thing I will say about that. Now, let's go back to the attracting more vanilla romance guys. Again, I'm not sure that it's really vanilla that you're wanting to attract, because it sounds like possibly that you have things that you really enjoy and would like to explore. I mean, I want a relationship where I get to explore life and to suck things out of life. So I want to set you up for that. The best way to attract men into your life is by online dating. You need to put together a good profile, even if it's one of the just short dating apps, and good pictures. And that's going to drastically change the quality of guys that you are attracting. And if you need help getting that started, you can go to helpmeonlinedate.com to start with that piece. It's really important. There are definitely things that you can do to just change the quality of men, but you being the person you are, don't have to settle and engage in kinks or be with men that have kinks, or if you don't want to be with somebody that is polyamorous and you want a monogamous relationship, you definitely can have that. There's nothing about you that says that you can't, and nothing about you that makes you a hypocrite for wanting something different and monogamous. And I want you to stick to, the things that you want. If along the journey you decide you want something else, that's perfectly fine as well. We evolve as adored women, and I want you to give yourself permission to evolve as well, or to, say this is who I am and this is what I want, and go with that and enjoy it. And again, criteria for mantourage versus actual exclusive relationship, different. So you can include somebody in who is polyamorous in your mantourage if you enjoy that and they treat you well and everything is going along well. And then when you decide to be in a relationship with somebody, you only decide to be in a relationship with somebody who has some of the same relationship goals. You don't have to be perfectly aligned, but big things like he wants a polyamorous relationship and you don't, those are big things. Those are big separations. If he decides, now this is really important. So one of the things I love about becoming an adored woman and the transformation that I see my clients go through as they step into this world is that when you really honor who you are, but enjoy men many times will come around to where you're at without you having to give them ultimatums or force anything on them, because they love being with you so much. So is that a possibility? Yes. In fact, I've seen it plenty of times. One of my favorite clients, she's freaking phenomenal. She had a man that she was dating in her mantourage who kind of was the primary man at the time, and he wanted to be polyamorous and told her that. He was very upfront with her. And she didn't specifically want to date a man that was in another relationship with somebody. She didn't mind if he was just casually dating, but it felt really off to date somebody that was actually in another relationship, and she let him know. And that if at any point in time he got into a relationship, it wasn't going to work. And he honored that. As they continued to date, he finally decided that he had no desire to be polyamorous whatsoever. And in fact, he wanted her so badly that he was totally okay if she wasn't ready to be in an exclusive relationship with him. But he would be willing to wait for her while she continued to date until she was. So I want you to think about that for a minute. She didn't go after him and make him feel bad about, his choices, or she honored him where he was at. She honored herself where she was at. And she allowed the process to unfold. And I want you to think how often we as women make men wrong for their choices, and get pissed off at them. And by the way, I'm not saying that to kink or not to kink that you're actually doing this. I'm talking in general with what women do more often than not, is we get really angry at them if they don't want the exact same relationship that we do. And then things seem to fall apart. Well, there's something to be said here. Now, this is an advanced level skill. I'm not going to lie. And this is something I work with women closely on. But what if you were enjoying your love life so much, meaning your dating life, and you knew with every being of your soul that you were going to have what you want, but meanwhile, since it wasn't quite there yet, you were going to enjoy men on a level that you've never given yourself permission to do before. You were going to be respectful of where they were at while you're being respectful of where you are at, and creating incredible opportunities and experiences for yourself and giving them the chance to keep stepping up for you, because men really like to do that, because they like to make women happy. Now, remember, he can't make you happy. He can contribute to your happiness. But if you're dependent on him to make you happy, you're fucking screwed. Okay? But let's go back to the scenario. And you're having so much fun and really focused on the moment, and then all of a sudden you have everything you want. Why? Because you've created space. You've created romantic space for all of your romantic dreams to come true. Now, I do concede that it's more intricate, which is the work I do with clients. It's more intricate than just this, and learning how to do this and understanding our own emotions, understanding how to engage with men differently, understanding how to handle sticky situations, because it's not like you're going to let men walk all over you either. That's not what I'm talking about here. But understanding all these different nuances and applying them to who you are in your life and then moving through that situation. But it is definitely doable. It's definitely doable, and it's what I do with my clients all the time. It's about making your life and your dating life so enjoyable that the love life that you really want just happens. Okay? It's not a destination piece. It's a in the moment. I'm loving everything I'm doing. I've tweaked the way I interact with men. I've changed who I am and how I'm showing up. Not who I am fundamentally, but who I am and how I'm showing up in reference to men and to the world and creating my own happiness. I am owning my desires for a relationship, meaning I'm not apologetic of the fact that I want to be, even as a bisexual woman, I want to be in a monogamous relationship. And then I am actively doing things like putting together a really good online dating profile and putting myself out there in a certain way so that the opportunity has a greater door to present itself through. And wrapping all of this up, I want you to consider this. It's not that you have to actively go look for men who are quote unquote more monogamous. There's a piece of most of us that is wired to desire that committed, connected relationship. Even in men, we try to say that there are very few men that have that, and that's bullshit. Even the most not monogamous of men have a piece of them that really wants that. Now, if you're going in and trying to change a man, you're going to screw yourself, because that's not how you create space. When you actively try to change somebody else, you are hanging your entire relationship identity and goals on one person, and you're making life much more difficult for yourself. Adored women don't do that. Instead, they set men up and they set themselves up for romantic, quote unquote, victory. And I like that because I know it's the whole conquering scenario, and that just gives me giggles. But understand that when you do in this scenario, the way you set your online dating profile up, the way you set your life up, the way that you actively engage with men and have fun with them, but you're learning to receive and step into the world of becoming an adored woman, you don't have to actively pursue men who are monogamous. They're just going to start showing up in your world. And men who are not, they'll either, if they truly cannot be monogamous, they'll get the fuck out at some point, or they'll convert. Okay, lover girl, it's time for the final thought on today's show. As an adored woman, you do not have to actively seek out monogamous men. They will show up so you can pick the best option for the relationship you truly want. This episode was brought to you by the Secret Society of Adored Women.
Have you been tirelessly going on crap-tastic dates, having crap-tastic results with men, even spending a crap-tastic amount of time weeding through meh guys and fretting over the one who won't call you back or commit?
Join us for our Hush Hush group of like-minded, successful, badass single women from around the world, turning the dating scene on its head and creating scandalously magical romantic experiences that you will cherish forevermore.
But beware, your love life and life will never be the same again.
Meet us over at thesecretsocietyofAdoredWomen.com. Hey, lover girl, this is Jen again. Don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast app, as well as share Single Smart Female with all of your single smart girlfriends. And if you would like to play around and learn more about Mantourage dating, come see me at singlesmartfemale.com. Talk to you next time.